and I agree with you, Senator Hartley. I think as much as I oppose it, we're going to have a magazine capacity ban. It's probably going to be 10 rounds. We've had it for 15 years. The part that troubles me is in the Democrat version. It says after October 1st, it'll ban the possession of large capacity magazines and provide a process for their disposal. I own about $1,000 worth of high capacity magazines.
Well, it would bankrupt the state.
Probably more. This would confiscate $1,000 of my property and then force me to go replace it with another $500
for arrest you for not doing it.
That, as I was trying to explain, is a proposal. And that's why I objected to having all of the names of the people on the Democratic side on that task force on there, because at no time did we sit down and say, do you agree with this one? Do you agree with? So what they basically were about to do was to take everyone's name who was on the task force and put it on that laundry list, as I described a little bit before, is like that's the laundry list of everything. So
you oppose that piece?
Absolutely.
Taking my property?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, absolutely.
There's some guns that hold more than 10 rounds.
Yeah, what do you do
with
with
that?
that, Tony? What do you do with it? Like
Well, that's a
a
question
Glock,
we're
a
asking.
Glock has a 15-round capacity magazine built right into the gun, it's part of the gun. You know, fits in the handle.
Sir, that was a question that
Yeah, I had
answering
a
right.
kind of a novel idea. Seeing you're stacking more laws upon the ones you already got. I mean, you don't even enforce the laws you already have. I mean, and then you want to stack more on top of it. I mean, it makes no sense to me.
And the history is that on the laws that exist, they're usually typically cleaved down, and therefore they are not enforced as they are on the books because of the plea bargaining system. So in that proposal that you will see, they put out there, you see a lot of mandatory minimums. So they establish a mandatory threshold that must happen, therefore they cannot be plead to a lesser charge. So you're right about the plea bargaining system. It stinks and it hasn't worked and it has completely eviscerated the laws that are on the books.
I mean, and a lot of them that are being proposed are already there. I mean, we already have them on the books.
You had your hand up, and then
it's
you,
just,
sir, in the back, and then Dom, and then I think.
it seems like a waste of time and money to me. I don't know.
I think it's okay to vote no on the whole package.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's also okay.
It's the way I see it.
If you're forced into a position, put an expiration date on this stuff. If they're really out there and they're really forcing with these bans, insist on an expiration date like they did federally, so that it will expire and we'll have a change of course in 5 years, so that we're not, our hands aren't tied, it's not so hard to get them untied at some later point. And encourage your fellow representatives and senators to think about the matter, not emotionally, but economically. Make an economic decision, don't make an emotional decision. What is the best course of action for the state? What can we afford? Can we afford to take and eliminate all of the magazines? No. Can we afford to restrict guns? No. Can we enforce it? No, we can't. We cannot afford anything that's being proposed.
Thank you.
I just want to bring up one thing too, because our caucus had a discussion on this. We would like very much that the public be given an opportunity to look at the final version of an ESER bill and possibly have a public hearing on it. I know Larry Cafaro has talked to Brendan Sharkey, who's the Speaker of the House, on that issue. I know John McKinney's been talking. We really want to gauge the public's input on whatever we do. We don't want to blindside anybody, but it's not our call. So, I mean, there are talks about that happening right now.
Just one last thing I'd like to say regarding the terminology used. People control the language, control the debate. And when we discuss things, first we're playing into other people's hands, the opposition's hand, we talk about assault weapons. Because anything can be an assault weapon that's used to assault somebody. The definition they're placing on assault weapons or a type of weapon, the AR-15 in particular, has been in existence for 50 years in a semi-automatic fashion. Semi-automatic firearms have been in existence for 100 years. Yep. There's no such thing as a high-capacity magazine. A Glock carries 15, 16 rounds. That's the magazine capacity the Glock firearm was designed for. It's not high capacity, any more than saying my gas tank holds 25 gallons. That's the capacity of the gas tank. It's the same concept. And lastly, first responders, you're the first responder. Okay? You're the victim, you're the first responder. I know a lot of the second responders who went into the school at Newtown. The first responders were Mary Sherlock and Dawn Hospital, who tried to defend those children with their bare hands and died. And subsequently other teachers did likewise. So don't forget that, particularly when it comes to the gun issue. You were the first responder. The police